Welcome to another episode of Redesigning Your Relationships Live. I'm your host, Giovanna Burgess-White, my co-host.
Hello. And I'm Yvette Valdenegro.
And we're so excited to be starting a brand new mini-series in February of 2023. If this is the first time you're watching, welcome. We go live every Wednesday, and we have a brand new podcast every single Friday. And we're just excited to jump into a self-love mini-series. Last month was Self-Love Month. But, we're just going to talk about it for the whole year and for the rest of your life. So, yeah, I don't feel like it shouldn't be a whole month. We need to have it all the time. And since it's Valentine's, I thought it'd be great for us to talk about what self-love looks like in the month of February as well. So, welcome.
Whoop, whoop. All right. First of all, I just want you to notice I wore pink.
Oh, you did.
You can't really see, but I have these little angels and it's got a little heart. This is so old. I had to really reach deep to grab some pink.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen you wear pink, actually.
But I thought, why not? Because it's self-love topic.
Ooh, sorry.
What?
To the end.
We're so ahead of ourselves. Oh my God. Okay. So we wanted to really just talk about self-love because, like you said, January was already self-love month, but to us, we live a life of self-love. But what really does that mean? Because I think this entire concept of self-love is maybe what some people think it is and isn't. And in all reality, let's just be real. There's 5 million different definitions. I could come up with my own way. You can come up with your own way. All our listeners can come up with whatever their definitions are of self-love, but I really wanted to focus in on just what that means in 2023, give some good tips and guidelines in the mix of it, and then just really bring some reality because, of course, what we do, we talk about this all the time with our clients, and sometimes the concept of self-love, even with our loved ones around us, is not particularly, what am I looking for? Has expanded. And I think that there's sometimes a negative bent or may actually make people feel not so great even talking about self-love, which just is kind of ironic. So we just really wanted to bring some meat to the matter and talk about love in general and self-love in general.
Love it.
All right.
Do you want me to read the definition?
Yes, please. This is the technical definition of self-love.
We always give you the technical and then we give you the YGC. So, a state of appreciation for oneself that grows from acts to support our physical, psychological, and spiritual growth. Having a high regard for your own well-being and happiness. Taking care of your own needs and not sacrificing your well-being to please others. I like the technical. It's so black and white. I think we both know that this with our clients. The relationship with self is the last one on the table. So that's why I think a lot of people, especially women, don't like the word self-love, don't like the term self-love, don't like to talk about self-love, because the deeper roots there is they don't even have a relationship with themselves. So how are they going to go straight into self-love? So I love the 3 definitions because, yes, we are in control of it and we need to prioritize and make time for ourselves, and also not only make time, understand what it is that we actually need.
Yeah. Okay. You can't really tell there, but I highlighted a couple words in there. So the first description, I highlighted state of appreciation. That's really just where you are in the moment of appreciation in your growth. But my favorite word in there is action. So what are your mental thoughts? Where are you really about your growth? And then what actions are you really taking in there? I love that. And then the last one I highlighted, this is really focusing in on your own needs without sacrificing anything. And I think that one is really hard because I've noticed we've been on a journey. And by the way, just so everybody knows, I don't really think that this ends because we're constantly changing, growing. Our life brings all kinds of things. So in all reality, this is a lifestyle of heartfelt desire for yourself. So it's not like it ever goes away. But I know even in my own growth journey, I've caught myself, because I feel like I'm so focused on this right now, caught myself saying, doing, being, writing excusing little things that I go, I am so doing this for somebody else so often. And not because I don't want to do it for somebody else, but how many times have I thought, well, they're prioritizing my time, the things that I do. I mean, just my own personal thoughts, or, I mean, let's just be real, like kids and needs. And the first instinct, and for me is, what does that person need? And as great, and I'm just going to say, and I'm not floating my own boat because I think everybody does this. As great as that sounds, the ability to put someone else's needs first, that sounds like, oh, but makes me humble and I'm such a great person. I'm a good mom. I'm a good friend. I'm a good girlfriend. Okay. In all reality, yeah, I'm sure there are times where that may have to be or needs to be different circumstances. But I'd say most of the time that does not going to serve me for the long run, or that person for the long run, because you feel inside when you are seriously doing something that you know is really for that other person and you are sacrificing for yourself. You feel it.
No, and we're programmed to do that as women. We're like, oh, everybody else comes first. But we've used this in previous episodes. Julie talks about this too. You have to put your mask on first before you can put someone else's on in the airplane. And this is the same thing. You have to know your relationship with yourself, your own boundaries. And that's why we did that mini series on boundaries. Is it's extremely important. You have to build and establish a relationship with yourself. And we don't have a good relationship with time. So we put ourselves last, and then we take the time, or we schedule the time, and we don't even know where to begin, because again, we've been programmed to always put everyone else before us. So it's this like, it doesn't feel, we're going back to the feeling, it doesn't feel normal. And then we also feel guilty. And then we're like, what is this all about? And then we just don't want to put the time and the effort. But those feelings, that time, that effort creates such a beautiful relationship that then you are leading by example in all the others, because you'll be able to give 1,000 times more in all the other relationships in your life when you've established a great one for yourself, and what you understand what self-love really is. And then you're teaching that, especially to your children. So I think this is why I'm super excited about this mini series, but it's also, a lot of people don't want to hear this, and they're like, oh, Gio, oh, Yvette, here we go again. But again, at the core of what we do is we really do teach women to have a really strong relationship with themselves, because every single relationship will fall into place after that.
Okay, well, speaking of that, Yvette, oh, Gio, so anybody out there is like, wait, before we get to that one, if anyone's out there like, oh my God, Yvette and Gio, really, we have stats, because the stats don't lie. Math does not lie. Yeah. So here are the stats on this in general. The first one's kind of out of the box, but I'm like, this is so relevant to life today, I think. Instagram is the worst social network for self-esteem. We could do a whole podcast just on that alone. How much people are on there, the comparison, the filters, listen, I'm all for people posting, this is my life and everything's wonderful. And I mean, I do that, but there's also the realness that I think sometimes gets lost. And sometimes when you're scrolling, all you see is perfectness, right? You're not seeing the truth behind, like we always say, what the world happens behind we even get online. Like the train goes by, we got Sambo, we got the lights turned off, like all the crazy things, the tornadoes last week, like all the crazy things that can happen. That's the realness, not the final thing that people watch. But I think because Instagram is like on our little devices, and it's so concise, and it's story after reel, after guide, after everything, which is perfect. That goes in your brain as, this is the perfect, and how am I measuring up to that? So I think that's why it creates such a low self-esteem. Okay. The rates of anxiety and depression have dropped 70% in the past 25 years. Or anxieties, I'm sorry, are up, not dropped. I wish it was dropped, are up 70% from the past 25 years. 70%. That's insane. 85% of the world's population are affected by low self-esteem. 85. So that means that if you meet 100 people and you line them up across the world, 85 out of those 100 people are going to be 100% suffering from low self-esteem. And she's back. At least your face this time was frozen in a really great way. Okay, more stats. 2021. And I couldn't find any, how it is. It takes a while for all the statistical gurus to get out there and put all their math equations together before they mass produce everything. But okay, this is alarming. 2% of all people said that they don't even like themselves.
Yeah, we know that.
Okay. 36% of those people said that, 2% says that they don't like, 36% actually say that they like themselves always. So only 36% of Americans are walking around saying that they actually like themselves all the time. So 1 out of 3 people, 2 out of 3 people are like, nah, I really don't like myself. 5% of people give themselves an actual 10 out of 10 for acceptance. 5.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think I kind of get that one because most people don't think of themselves as a 10, right?
Yeah.
But then reverse that. 46% of all people rate themselves at a 5 or less. So that's half the people don't even think that they're even halfway qualified to be accepting.
Yeah.
That's
real. That's real with our clients. It's like, again, we've never been taught to go, hey, let's talk about us and what we want and what we need. And let's really establish a great relationship with ourselves. Like, when have you ever heard that other than when you start personal development and coaching? But like in life, that's not happening. And that's why we're here to tell you that we're going to change that. We're decoding that this year. So
yeah. All right. So now the fun, I picked a couple quotes because I feel like it was a combination of the technical definition with reality. Like, what does it really mean to have self-love? Self-love. I have moved past the material things and focused more on the inner work that needs to be done.
Strong. All right, self-love. I want my acts of self-love to reconnect me with the world and help me find my voice again. Love this one. So it's all about, talking about women empowerment and like leading women and guiding women and of movement for women, but really, it really is part of finding your voice because we're always speaking and doing all the things for everyone else. But yet again, it's like, I don't have time. And when I do, you're tired and you don't want to do the things for yourself. So love this one too. Right, next.
I feel like it's always been about me attached to something or someone. This time it's about me. Self-love, self-care, self-reflection. I'm being a little selfish right now. It's my time. Okay, one of these things I just realized, actually, none of these really speak to physical, material. This is all internal. And the beauty about that is you can't compare your internal. You can't see your heart, your soul, your feelings. You can only when they're outwardly expressed, but it's not like I can just climb in and go, here, just let me show you. People know you and know your heart by your actions, your words, your deeds, the things that you do, who you are as a person, like all those things, right? So all these, I love it because all of this starts internally, which is why I think that the new 2023 way of decoding things is because, again, it's not about all the external. It doesn't mean, oh, self-love means I'm going to go to the gym and lose 20 pounds. Self-love means I'm going to go get my nails done. That's self-care and maybe things that you like to do.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call it self-care. That's a whole nother.
Well, you're taking care of your nails.
Yeah,
taking care of your hair, you're taking care of yourself, like you just like general appearance or whatever. But that's not taking care of you on the inside. Sure, it's going to make you feel good for a moment, but we're not about moments. We're about lasting change and lasting transformation. That's more important.
Yeah, I think the external is just like a Band-Aid that we put on to make it all look good. But again, it's the inner work that we don't want to do. And if you go back to, the beginning of season 3 in our podcast, we talk about what a relationship is. And it is the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual side of everything. And then also, if this is like, you're like, oh my God, this is too much. Well, we're doing mini series. We're going to have a part 2 and a part 3. Go back to boundaries. I think we did that series in November. It's actually our most listened and watched 2 series. And just start with the boundaries with yourself, because I think everything that we do connects, and it really helps you better understand. And then also the relationship with time. This all goes back to just really allotting the right amount of time, not the time that you're like, okay, I'm gonna put myself at the end of the day or maybe on a Saturday for like an hour. This is really the daily. All when we talk about repetition and if it's 15 to 20 to 30, sometimes we have clients now doing an hour to 2 hours a day. They don't feel guilty anymore because again, they're at their best. They've established this relationship. It's extremely healthy. The boundaries are healthy. Everything's actually so well done that all the other relationships end up actually being better and healthier. So you want to let them know what part 2 and 3 is going to be, and then I will give them some extra information on how they can connect with us.
Yeah. Before we go into that, I wanted to say too that in no way, shape, or form do Gio and I want to invalidate anybody's feelings and emotions in this, because we know that there's like, just like every topic, there's so many things we could talk about. So this is not invalidating anybody at all. If anything, I'm hoping someone really feels more empowered and better just by knowing it's not the external, it's the internal that we care about. It's who you are as a person, and growth, change takes time. So this isn't I listened to the podcast and I'm going to go live no. It's something that you choose to work on every single day, because that transformation it's a journey, and it's a journey you're always going to be on. So why not jump on to the crazy positive train that we're on and get with it? Yes. So this was Decoding Self-Love in 2023. Part 2 is going to be what self-love can do and why it's important. And then part 3 is going to be, we're going to come with some really fun, helpful tips to really actually engage in your self-love.
Love it. So if you're listening to us or watching us, anywhere you're at, you can click the link to connect with us. We do complimentary connects for you. And if this is something that you are dealing with, or you don't even know where to start with, just book a call with us. That's what we're here for. And again, we're on every single Wednesday live, where every Friday we drop a new podcast on all podcast platforms. And the month of February and our self-love mini-series is brought to you by your business bestie. She is one of our brand partners, Carrie Andrews, and she really does help our clients with the relationship with her and creating that life-work balance. And so you can get more information about her and how you can automate and delegate in your business. So until next week.